How's it going, YouTube? This is FourthStarTCG and welcome back to another video. Today we are continuing with our Pokemon Sun and Moon deck coverage, and we're going to be going over possibly one of the most hyped cards from this set, and that is Decidueye GX. Now, I've spent a very long time, this is probably one of the cards that I was most hyped about as well, and I've spent a very long time figuring out this deck list and making it work. I'm going to try to go through it a bit quicker than my deck profiles usually are, but this deck does take a bit of explaining, so hopefully we'll have maybe a little bit of a mid-range deck profile. So Rowlet and Dartrix are fairly nothing to write home about for them. They're just fairly standard pre-evolutions, but Decidueye GX is what has been getting so much hype. The ability Feather Arrow, once during your turn before your attack, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Abilities that put damage onto Pokemon are wonderful, as we've seen with Greninja Break. That's a fantastic, possibly, I'd say maybe tier 1 or tier 2 deck. Did a bunch at Pokemon Worlds last year, almost won. I feel like if Cody Walensky just started with Talonflame maybe once or twice, he could have put the hurt down on that Mega Audino list. But yeah, so now we have Decidueye GX, which is not as good as Greninja Break. But it's different than Greninja Break. It's good in a different way. So Feather Arrow, you don't have to be active to do this. You can use it from your bench. So that's one way that it differs from Greninja. Another way it differs from Greninja is its massive HP of 240. And it has 2 very good attacks as well. Razor Leaf for grass and a double colorless does 90 damage. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad. Just a good mid-range attack to deal some damage. This can be very nice versus fighting decks, as with the weakness, a lot of the stuff like Zygarde right now, those fighting decks are weak to grass. Primal Groudon as well, so you can hit 180 with 1 Razor Leaf and weakness without any Feather Arrow damage. If you're going up against Primal Groudon, you just need a couple Feather Arrows, and you'll be able to hit the 240 on that, which is pretty nuts. And the GX attack for Decidueye GX is Hollow Hunt GX. You put 3 cards from your discard pile into your hand. This is a very, very good GX attack. I feel like all the GX attacks are good. But Hollow Hunt GX, it very much, you can get anything back from your deck, so anything we need. We can get energy back, we can get VS Seekers back, we can get maybe some search cards back, we can get Pokemon back if we need them, we can get tools back, we can get absolutely anything. So Hollow Hunt is just wonderful. Now, to pair up with Decidueye, we've added some sort of generic attackers. We have 2 copies of Tauros GX. It's a basic attacker, something we can throw down, something that does not take a lot of work to get out. And the attack Rage, all of its attacks take only a double colorless, which is just wonderful. That's all we need in our Tauros, and we have many options of what to use to attack with. So Rage does 20 damage plus 10 for each more damage counter on this Pokemon. So it's basically whatever amount of damage that's on Tauros plus 20. It's fairly simple. Horn Attack is good because you can use this when you're not damaged at all, and it just does 60 damage to the opponent. It doesn't look like a lot, but if you've got 3 Decidueyes out, you're adding 60 damage. Now you're hitting for 120 with a Tauros GX, and that's if you want to put that damage on the active with Decidueye. You can put the damage wherever you want, similar to Greninja. And Tauros' GX attack is probably one of the best GX attacks in the game. Mad Bull GX does 30 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. If you have 70 damage, you're hitting 210, which is just nuts. 60 damage, you hit 180, which one-shots a lot of EXs. But Mad Bull GX, it makes people very afraid to attack Tauros if you haven't used your GX attack for the game. So Tauros plus Decidueye, Tauros to hit that consistent damage onto the active, Decidueye to put damage wherever we want. We also have 1 copy of Lugia EX. This is a very good card versus stuff like Yveltal. If they power up an Yveltal in the active, we can punish that with Arrow Ball. And also Mega Mewtwo. Mega Mewtwo is a very powerful deck as well if they load up with too much energy. In order to hit knockouts on our Decidueyes or our Tauroses with Fighting Fury Belt as they hit 220. and really we don't put a lot of energy on these Pokemon. We really just want to put 2 energy down on Lugia and Tauros. Then we can punish them with Lugia's Arrow Ball. Now, as a supporting cast for these Pokemon, we also have 1 copy of Beedrill EX. Beedrill EX is here because we have no form of trainer-based tool removal, so Garbodor can be a very big threat to this list. If we lose our Decidueyes, then that's very difficult to deal with. So double Scrapper, we can discard up to 2 Pokemon tool cards attached to our opponent's Pokemon. This is going to help us out versus Garbodor. It gives us a way to discard those tool cards. And we have 2 copies of Shaymin EX just for the setup. Very standard. Almost every deck runs 2 copies of Shaymin EX. I've had some questions to build more budget decks. I will try to do that, but I also want to put out competitive deck lists. So most of the deck lists that I put out will have stuff like at least 2 copies of Shaymin, some GX cards, some cards that might be expensive, like Decidueye is probably like a $12 card right now. So now into the trainers, we play 1 copy of Buddy Buddy Rescue. Each player puts a Pokemon from his or her discard pile into his or her hand. Our opponent chooses first. This is nice just to get Pokemon back from the discard pile that isn't a grass Pokemon. We do play Revitalizer for that, but it's just very nice if a Tauros gets knocked out, a Lugia gets knocked out, really anything. Just nice to have that way to put Pokemon from our discard pile right back into our hand. We play 1 copy of Escape Rope, fairly standard. If anything gets caught in the active, we can do that, as we can get that out of the active. Escape Rope is also good versus decks that like to power up an active Pokemon. We can punish them for that. We also play 2 copies of Level Ball. Level Ball will help us search for our Rowlet and our Dartrix. We do play a lot of searching cards in this list, and that's to get our Decidueyes out as quickly as possible. 1 copy of Revitalizer, just if our Decidueyes get knocked out. This helps us bring them back. Whoops. Oh man, gotta be careful there. So we'll throw 1 Revitalizer back in. All right. Back into the profile. 1 copy of Super Rod, just fairly standard. This is for our energy, if we lose a lot of energy, to bring those back. It's also good if our Shaymins get knocked out, if we want to bring back an entire line, and we've used our Revitalizer already. 2 copies of Timer Ball. This is a brand new card introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon. We flip 2 coins for each heads. We search our deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into our hand. This is really nice because it allows us to get out our Pokemon without having to discard anything. This deck, space is tight in this list. We play 18 Pokemon. You play all of these. You commit 12 cards to just the Decidueye line. So discarding our energy, we don't play a lot of draw supporters. Our trainers are pretty cramped, so not having to discard that stuff is very nice. So Timer Ball can be a big help at times when we're getting everything out. We play 4 copies of Trainer's Mail just to search for everything, aid us in getting our Decidueyes out as quickly as possible. 4 copies of Ultra Ball plus our 1 super shiny Ultra Ball, which will be in every deck list, and I will show it off every single time because it's so nice. Fairly standard there. 4 copies of VS Seeker as well. Very standard. 4 Forest of Giant Plants. This is what allows Decidueye to be playable. 1 Lysander to pick out stuff on our opponent's bench for us to either damage or hold in the active while we power everything up. 2 copies of N. I am only running 2 copies in this list. You probably could up that to 3, but the space is very tight in this list. Maybe I'd cut out a Timer Ball and put in another N, but I found that 2 Timer Ball is very useful in the beginning of the game if you can hit them. 4 Sycamore, fairly standard here. We just play 4 draw supporters. Fighting Fury Belt, very nice for our Lugia and our Tauros. Up the HP, up the damage. Standard in a lot of decks that run basic Pokemon. We also play 1 Float Stone. This is very nice if we ever need to retreat something and we don't want to commit the energy. Lugia has a 2 retreat cost, Tauros has a 2 retreat cost, and Decidueye has a 2 retreat cost as well. So sometimes those you don't want to pay them, so we're just going to use Floatstone for that. We run 4 copies of Double Colorless Energy. It fits on everything. It fits on our Lugia, our Tauros, and our Decidueye as well. And 4 copies of Grass Energy. We're usually not going to be attacking with Decidueye, so that's why we don't play more Grass Energy. So that will do it for the deck profile. I think I got that done in a fairly good amount of time. We don't want to... Yes, we want to discard them, because we just took out the Revitalizer and put it back. So we'll get a match here. Alright. So it looks like we're going up against Grass, Psychic, Normal. Psychic Hoopa? Could we maybe be seeing a Mega Sceptile list here? Unfortunately, we lose the coin flip. Yes, okay, so Mega Sceptile, that's what we see here. They play Forest as well, so that's going to be nice. I seem to always mulligan in this, playing this deck, and I don't know why, because we play 8 basics, I think. So, usually you want to start with a Tauros, a Lugia, something like that. But this is not terrible, depending on what that Trainer Mail hits. We could have 2 Dartrix out. Hopefully we get a draw supporter here. So we see the Sceptile Link going down. This is nice because if our opponent is playing the Ariados, they can't poison us. We're going to see the Ultra Ball throwing away Lysander and Hex. I assume that'll grab... they're going to grab another Sceptile. Maybe they have Hoopa in hand? Or just a Shaman. Yeah, yes, they figured they really didn't need Hoopa this matchup. They put down the Forest for us, which is very nice. They are going to end us. As long as we don't get end into a terrible hand, this isn't bad. Could be better. But at least we have a draw supporter. Hopefully this will hit some... Okay, so that's nice. We can get down our Dartrix. We can Trainer Mail. I'll take the Forest. Since once that's down, really don't need anything. Fighting Fury Belt. Plus, there are 3 Decidueye GX. Wow. It's not doing a good job shuffling. So we'll Sycamore here. We'll get rid of those 2 Forests. Unfortunately, we also get rid of some other stuff. I could double Scrapper these, yeah. I could double Scrapper these tools away, which would prove difficult for my opponent. Or I could Ultra Ball, hope for a Tauros, and start hitting damage. I think that's probably going to be our best bet here. We only have 1 Tauros, that's the thing. How many DCEs do we have? We have 4 DCEs, so the Ultra Ball for our Tauros. Hopefully we find a... hopefully we are able to... Well, we'll have to Ultra Ball for a Shaman, actually. But, I mean, doing that would kind of be playing passive. I usually don't like to play passive. Like to be aggressive. We'll draw until we have 6. Nice. So we are getting out our Decidueyes as well, which is wonderful. This is what we want to do. Get out these Decidueyes as quickly as possible. Have another Ultra Ball. I can take the Escape Rope. No, I'm just fine throwing that, keeping that all in there. We'll Shaman again here. Still looking for that Tauros plus DCE. There's the DCE. We do not get the... I don't want to put down that Rowlet. as we have used our draw supporter for the turn. I guess I can throw down this here. I don't really want a GX here, so we will Feather Arrow. Suppose we can just damage the active Sceptile for now. And yeah, we'll just damage the active Sceptile for now. Don't really see the difficulty in that, and I will not attack. I want to save our GX attack because Sceptile really does only hit 100 damage with Jagged Saber. So a Tauros GX coming through can be very good here. So our opponent is going to N. As we have the Tauros next turn. So we're going to see the Shaman from my opponent. You can get out another Decidueye. Hopefully this Timer Ball hits. He's going to Jagged Saber. The Theta Stop is we have to keep that in mind because that stops our Feather Arrows. So 2 tails, that's pretty annoying. But we can Ultra Ball away this Dartrix and this Escape Rope. Really don't see the need for that. And we'll grab out our Tauros GX here. We'll throw down Tauros. We'll throw down Fury Belt. And we got 22 cards. We can afford to Sycamore here. That also puts the N in the discard pile if we need to grab that via VS Seeker. And it also gives us our Decidueye. So we are going to attach the DCE down here to the Tauros, and we are going to Feather Arrow. We are going to hit the Shaman here. We can put 60 damage on it with Feather Arrow, and we're going to be able to knock that out next turn. And we're just going to go out here, and we are going to Horn Attack, 100 damage, or 110 on the Sceptile now. We can Mad Bull GX for knockout next turn and take 4 prizes next turn if my opponent doesn't pull like some random parallel city out of nowhere. We see the Mega Turbo. We could see a retreat into the other Sceptile, throwing a Grass Energy down here in order to heal that up. We also see the N here. Giving us both 6 cards. It's a fairly good hand, I would say. And we're going to see the retreat here. Plus the Jagged Saber, but we are going to be able to take... This is why I didn't... Yeah, so my opponent just decides to forfeit here, realizing that we can Mad Bull GX plus... So... yeah, our opponent probably realized that we could have Mad Bull GX'd for knockout, and then knocked out the Shaman with our Feather Arrows as well and taken 4 prizes on that turn. Would have been very difficult for my opponent to come back from that, especially since we had over 200 HP, and another Jagged Saber would not knock us out. And then we could Rage for knockout the next turn. So I will consider that a win for us. I mean, we got set up very well. Unfortunately, this is not looking good. We have a Shaman start, 2 Decidueyes in hand. This Trainer's Mail, I really hope it hits an N, but we do only play 2 in this list. Maybe an N, yeah. So our opening hand, not very good, contrary to what our first game was. As we see Eevees. Okay, so now the Tauros, this is good. Tauros means we can, I'm just going to Trainer Mail here. Well, do I level ball before I Trainer Mail? Yeah, I do. So we see 4/4, 4 Decidueye, 1 Shaman in there. How are our energies looking? All of our energies are there, so it's probably just like trainers and such prized. We're going to Ultra Ball here. We get the Forest. I'm going to take the Timer Ball. The reason being I can use that next turn. I am going to avoid putting the DCE down, knowing that we have all of our energy just in case I need to Sky Return next turn. I don't want to commit anything. Hopefully we get a draw supporter or something. My opponent's going to Nest Ball. Throwing down the Yveltal. So this is interesting. I really haven't played Nest Ball much. I think you'd need to add it in addition to your 4 copies of Ultra Ball. And I mean, 4 copies of Ultra Ball has always worked for me in most lists, so. Especially once Shaman rotates, Nest Ball will be very, very good. But we're going to see an energy evolution here into Umbreon GX. And an N. So I'm not too sad about that. We had 2 Decidueyes. Our hand was pretty dead. So we see the Forest, another Rowlet, 2 VS. So we'll see the Strafe, and he does not choose to switch. So let's see, what can we do here? We do grab the Ultra Ball. We're going to need to use that for Shaman. I'm going to Ultra Ball away this and a VS Seeker in order to grab out our Shaman. We'll throw down the Forest just so we have another card to draw off of our Shaman here. Looking for something like a Float Stone. Draw Supporter is nice. Do I end? Do I Sycamore? Lost 1 Seeker. Beedrill really not useful. I'm going to Sycamore here. Yeah, I need those. There's no Dartrix in the discard. But we do have the Escape Rope plus the DCE, so that is nice. We're going to Timer Ball here, which hits Double Tails, which is quite annoying. There's no need for me to use our Revitalizer as we don't have a Dartrix in the discard. So I'm just going to Escape Rope here. And we'll see what my opponent throws out. I would assume the Yveltal EX. But we shall see. We'll get our Tauros out into the active, which is good. It's going to give us the Shaman. This is not something that I would have done. Horn Attack does 70. And this puts it in range of a couple... yeah, this puts it in range of 2 Feather Arrows from Decidueye. But he could somehow Parallel City himself, get rid of the Shaman. So we're going to see another Eevee come out. I guess this is something like Umbreon GX as the focus of... we're going to see a Crushing Hammer. Please no. Oh, God. So we're gonna see that that come out. It's nice because our Decidueye doesn't need energy, but those Crushing Hammer are going to be very annoying. We see the N here, which gives us a new hand, which is fine. Hopefully we'll get some Dartrix. It's not bad. See the Flareon, so it's okay. Umbreon Evolutions. I guess he's just going to Strafe here for 30. So we are going to throw down the Dartrix here. Throw down the Rowlet. Ultra Ball away. Guess Lysander and Floatstone in order to grab out. Kind of deciding if I wanted Decidueye GX or a Dartrix. How many search cards do we have left? We have one Timer Ball and only one Ultra Ball. So we're probably going to need to draw into them. Yeah, I'm just going to, yeah, I'm going to do this. We're going to Sycamore. I feel like we're losing a lot of Seekers. Yeah, we have 3 Seekers down. We do get another Dartrix, and we do get the Buddy, so that allows us to grab the, allows us to grab one Decidueye, throw some more damage down onto the Shaman, and we have a DCE, so we're just waiting on those Decidueye GXs. Should be able to get them next turn. My opponent doesn't have any Pokemon in their discard pile, so still waiting on them. Alright, so we'll grab out the Decidueye. We will evolve. And we will Feather Arrow onto the Shaman. So that is now one Feather Arrow away from being knocked out. If my opponent wants to do anything, they will need to... I'm just going to Horn attack here. Mad Bull GX would just do 100, so there's no point. We'll put damage down on the board. Once we get our Decidueye GXs out, we're going to start doing some damage. Hopefully these hammers... Okay, nice. I don't know if he plays Enhanced. I would assume he plays Enhanced. Maybe Flare Grunt or something. Yeah, there's the Flare Grunt. But that is his supporter for the turn. And he is going to Shadow Bullet here. Which, I don't know why he wouldn't hit this Shaman. I guess he's putting it in range of a, of another. But we are going to take 2 prizes here. We're going to knock out the Shaman. We're going to take the first prizes of the game, which give us a Forest and a Trainer Mail. We will attach down on this. No. We will Trainer Mail. Give us the N. I probably should have N'd before I did that. I mean, I can VS for Sycamore, but this will take another Shadow Bullet. So that's something to be aware of. And I have not lost my Super Rod yet. So I could somewhat hope for a DCE off of the N. I'm going to Level Ball here just to see what's in my deck. Yeah, we do have 2 DCEs and 2 Grass Energies. 9 cards left in our deck to take 2 prizes. To take 4 prizes. I'm just going to N and hope here. I think that's really the best play. Unfortunately, we only come away with 2 Trainer Mail and an Energy. I know I will be able to take another Shadow Bullet, but I am just going to attach down here. The reason being that this needs Grass Energy to attack, and committing 2 Grass Energy here would probably not be the best bet. So we are just going to put the damage here. And I guess we can hold those Trainer Mails. I really can't think of anything I would want. We've already used our Escape Rope, so that wouldn't be... I guess I can thin the deck out for next turn to draw into the Can find the timer ball here. Yeah, we'll just thin the deck out a little bit for next turn, hoping that we draw into our DCE. So, yeah, I really don't see the need to get out another Decidueye this turn. Hope that timer ball hits. Assuming I'll Sycamore it away next turn. I mean, I could have, but not overly pressing. My opponent needs a Kukui in order to knock us out this turn, as he's going to evolve into Umbreon GX. I would assume this deck plays Kukui. He's going to town map here. And we see my opponent's prizes are the Parallel City, Ultra Ball, Sycamore, fairly standard prizes there, nothing too brutal for my opponent. He's going to Ultra Ball. He does have the Flareon out, so that's something to recognize for my Decidueyes. This has 110 HP, so it'll die to a Feather Arrow and a... Yeah, my opponent's just going to Shadow Bullet again here. I would hit the Decidueye, to be honest. So we will Timer Ball, which hits double tails again, which is quite painful. And I am just going to need to Sycamore here. We have 6 cards left in the deck. This does not give us a DCE, which is incredibly annoying. No DCE. Okay. Well, we're just kind of in hope mode here. I'm not going to Super Rod yet, just because I want that DCE back. I can take prizes here. This is already in range of whatever I want to do. So I think I'm just going to take out this Eevee on the bench for some prizes. If my opponent decides to put down another Eevee, I don't know why. I think this is 4 Eevees, so. But we're just gonna put some damage down here, take prizes, which is another Decidueye GX. Yeah, and we are just going to end our turn. Really stinks. Really banking off of pulling. We had like, I want to say like a 75% chance of pulling a DCE off of that Sycamore, which would have allowed us to go down to 1 prize, because we would have taken out the Eevee, maybe put some damage onto one of these Yveltals, and also KO'd the Umbreon GX with Mad Bull GX, or Rage for that matter. But we were not able to hit that DCE, which is quite painful. And my opponent is going to VS Seeker for the Lysander here, and I assume Lysander take out one of our Shamans. He's going to go for the Decidueye. And yeah, and KO the Tauros on the bench. So missing that DCE was really painful for us, because yeah, this Umbreon would have been gone. My opponent would have had no energy on the field. Pretty much. So what we can do here, since we pulled the Revitalizer... oh, he didn't knock out... He didn't knock out a Decidueye. Oh, I am very stupid. Okay, so we'll just get back the Beedrill. Yeah, I thought he had knocked out a. Thought he had knocked out a. What was I thinking? I thought he had knocked out a Decidueye line. Since I had the GX in hand, I could bring that back. I don't believe we have a Rowlet in the discard in the deck, and I don't really. Yeah, there's still no need to Super Rod, as we did not find that DCE. When we get the DCE, I think technically we can win next turn. Yeah, no, because I used the Revitalizer. I could Super Rod, Ultra Ball. If we hit the DCE, that's the only thing. It's the only thing that will help us. Oh, but he's going to reduce our damage, but we have the Forest. He's going to throw away... Yeah, he throws away the Shaman. Okay. Smart play by my opponent, and he's going to N us down to 3, so... There it is. He is going to Shadow Bullet for knockout onto the Decidueye, and yeah, it reduces by 20, so now we have to double Feather Arrow. Unless we draw something off of the prizes. That's a Lugia, or the top deck. That won't do anything for us. Yeah. So we are going to Feather Arrow. We have to Feather Arrow this twice in order to get the knockout on it. So we will Razor Leaf here. That does knock him out. We go down to we still have the Tauros GX and another DCE. But a DCE wins for my opponent as he just Shadow Bullets this Shaman, so that'll be game. I'm still salty over missing that DCE because we had 4 prizes that turn. Yeah, so my opponent is going to win a very close game there. I feel like Decidueye was very good in this game, just the heart of the cards was not with us, which does stink. I figure we can go and do a pack opening to close. We do have 275 coins, so we can get something nice from the TCGO store. So we'll grab a pack of Sun and Moon, and we'll go open that right now to finish off the video. The TCGO store has been really good to me lately. I got the full art Lugia off of like just a random pack that I won off of a battle. And I've got Umbreon GX full art and Kukui from full art Kukui from store packs as well. But we do only get a Primarina from this pack, which is pretty nice as I did only have one of them before. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and stick around for more videos.